everyone, welcome to another episode of our high level masterclass. These are, in my opinion, very unique because we take a certain topic and spend time with an expert that is part of our community. And today I have Damien Watts. If you don't know who Damien is, he's been pretty active in our community across a ton of, he's a great networker. So I know that about Damien. A ton of the elite players talk about Damien and some of the cool things that him and his business partner all do with their agency. But to just give you a formal intro here, he's a former athlete that turned into a serial entrepreneur. He has become one of the leading omni-channel growth experts, transforming hustlers into CEOs and then scaling their business into multi-eight figures. After generating over $500 million online with a proprietary system that designed to create a full autonomy, Damien now empowers entrepreneurs to break free from daily operations and lead thriving and self-sustaining companies. Now, I know that's a mouthful, and Damien probably won't say that about himself or read it for himself. But what I like about Damien is he is very approachable. He's very very involved in our community. I think I came across you a couple of times at events and things like that. Our co-founder Robin always has a great note about you as well. And first of all, thanks for saying yes to the masterclass. We're excited to kind of dive in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
For sure. So, Damien, when we planned this out, we had a lot of different options to kind of bring out your expertise. You have a ton of different things that you do, and you've been doing this for a long time. But we gravitate towards the idea of challenges. And here at High Level, we use challenges. So, for those of you that are watching this, maybe challenges or education-oriented offers is something that's really part of your business. And what we want to do is really unpack how to properly, first of all, launch a challenge that's educational experience that turns into kind of a prospecting machine, I guess, in some sense. Can you give us the idea of what a challenge is? And I know you have some slides that you may want to share, and we'll go right in, and there's a lot to cover. But yeah, feel free.
Yeah, so right now, challenges are still to this day our number one selling mechanism. And if people need to understand what a selling mechanism is, it's a traffic source and a way to make sales online. Think of a webinar, think of a low ticket funnel, just a way to get customers through your ecosystem. And for us, challenges, they're nothing but virtual events. They can be done over a specific amount of time. What we found that is the best for us is 5-day virtual events. It gives us enough time to break down offers, break down products, services, etc. And overall, all we're looking to do is uh, build the trust back up. We want to showcase authority. We want to showcase credibility. And if you can't sell something within 5 days, you probably shouldn't be selling.
I think that's fair. Now, if I'm starting out, do you think there's an opportunity for me to consider a challenge as a selling mechanism? Because I know a ton of people that are watching this masterclass, they may not see themselves as a subject matter expert just yet, or in that kind of a lens just yet. So does this apply to the new beginners or and the seasoned veterans?
Yeah, I think that for what most people need to understand is, again, it's just a selling mechanism. It's just a way to make sales. So to answer your question, no, you do not have to be a seasoned expert. You could be selling a service. You could be selling a community. You could be selling all different types of products, high ticket masterminds, whatever the case may be. And when it comes to the challenges, we have some people who are mega influencers with millions of followers that run challenges. And we also have the average everyday person who has no social media following, still doing 5 and 6 figure days through these virtual events. So as long as you have the ability to transform someone's situation in a positive manner, challenges are probably the best way to go. It doesn't matter if you're selling SaaS. It doesn't matter if you're selling, like I mentioned, it can be a multitude of different things, but we utilize challenges across the board for a multitude of products being sold online.
I love that. Now, Damien, how did you get involved with challenges in general? Like, is this part of your journey to high level, or were you doing challenges before high level? Like, help us understand the connection between high level and challenges that you're talking about.
Yeah, so so we were, and I hate to bring this up, but we were doing challenges since about 2020. 2020 is when we first got introduced to the model. There was a guy by the name of Pedro Adeo. doing challenges for Russell Brunson and a couple other people, and we kind of seen what was happening with Tony Robbins. So we looked into the model. It's nothing but an extended webinar at the end of the day. But when we got into the space, it was horrible when it came to challenges because there were so many different technical components that went into the picture. So we had ClickFunnels, active campaigns, Zoom, Facebook groups, and it was so many different things that we were having to patch together. And once we got into the high level world, and then high level just kept developing and kept developing, it was just one of those things where, holy crap, we might be able to do this whole thing inside of one system. And that is what attracted us to bring all of our ecosystems. And shoot, by the end of 2022, I was all in on high level. So the
Yeah.
challenge model is a very, when I say difficult, there's just a lot of moving pieces. If you have multiple um, platforms that you're trying to integrate into one ecosystem to get that desired result. And high level makes it extremely easy. I'll be able to show you inside of this. We have all of our systems inside of high level, all of our funnels, all the automations, all the workflows. It's a monster of a machine, but high level has made it extremely easy to be able to pull it off.
And I can tell you firsthand, being part of the team that handles the 5-day challenge, we've got about 30 people behind the scenes
Yeah.
running the logistics behind these challenges and workshops and stuff like that. So I'm excited to kind of learn from you and just dive in and, take some notes here. But for those of you that are watching, tell us what city you're checking in from, tell us what state, and give us a feedback of like, are you interested in potentially considering challenges as a mechanism for yourself? If so, I would love to know. Throw some comments in our streaming as you're watching this, and let us know where you are. But Damien, how do you describe high level? I mean, there's a lot of people that just watch this whole scene around high level. There's a lot of hype around it, a lot of affiliate traffic that's getting pushed around as well. So it's hard for an agency owner or a business owner to look at high level and try to navigate through the noise versus like how do I apply the high level tools to myself. What would you say to those folks that are kind of on the fence about high level in general as you probably pull up your slides here?
Cancel all your subscriptions and join. And it's the I say that with utmost respect to all the other components out there, all the other softwares. There's nothing that competes. At the end of the day, when you talk about price point, there's nothing that competes with the price point. For the amount of features and the amount of flexibility that you guys offer businesses, agency owners, small business owners, enterprises, it's you can't compare with it. I was a heavy ClickFunnel person for years. And I have completely moved all of my people, all of my team members, all functional and go high level. Everything is revolved around this. And the big thing that we had a lot of problems with in the beginning, like you mentioned earlier, I've been doing this for about 8.5 years now, going on 9 years. And we've just been behind the scenes of different verticals. So the e-commerce space, the local space, the information product space. And we've always had to jump from software and platform to platform, and there was nothing that could bring all of the selling mechanisms that we do in one spot. And that was something that, transparently, I was in the process of developing my own software because there was nothing that was out there that gave me the flexibility to have low ticket products talk to the mid ticket products and the challenges and the webinars and all these different things. It was too much patching. And it wasn't until I got into high level that it gave me the flexibility to be able to run the entire operation out of one place. And I think that that's what I'm so attracted to high level. I told the team, like my team, that we don't use any other softwares outside of a couple of email marketing. And I'm just a huge fan of Circle on the back end from a flexibility standpoint, but that's just where we started before Go High Level got into communities. And Go High Level, when I show you the back end, you'll see everything that we do is inside of Go High Level.
Love it. Excited to just jump right in, man.
Okay, cool. Give me 1 second to pull this up for you guys. All right, let me go into present mode. We can have us a fun little time. So, ready to kick it off?
Yeah, let's do it,
Can you
man.
guys
It's a
see the
nice,
screen okay?
nice,
Everything is
yes,
good?
absolutely. It's a nice looking suit.
All right, perfect. So, just for everyone here, I'll get into my story a little bit here, but I'm going to show you how we have generated over $75 million online through 5-day virtual events. And again, don't get caught up on the 5 days. We have people that do 3 days. We have people that do 1 day intensive. So it's a wide range of what people have the flexibility to do. So who am I? And just to kind of give you a background, like Paulson mentioned in the beginning, we generate over $500 million online for and have created multiple 6, 7, and 8 figure earners than anyone in our culture, in our community. We've worked with hundreds of brands online. You can see over here, spoke on stages with Magic Johnson, some really big people. We're known in the space for helping entrepreneurs hit set multiple 7 figure days online, and challenges was a huge portion of that. And as you can see, we've generated over $75 million through this selling mechanism that I'm going to explain to you. And you guys are going to have to forgive me here, but my main thing is when I do things, I try to always over deliver. So I'm going to be going into our exact processes of how we run challenges so that you can take things, take your tidbits, write down, take your notes, and hopefully you can execute on these things because I'm going to map it out from start to finish throughout this journey. And then here is something that I'm pretty sure Paulson was kind of going through to kind of paint the picture. And I wanted to bring this up as well. You can see we have things all the way up to $20 million, but then we also have things all the way down here at $5,000. Okay. So there's a huge range. And again, everybody's starting at different places. Everyone has different offers, structures, and things of that nature. Not everybody's good behind the camera and pitching. So all of these things go into play when you're talking about running online challenges and virtual challenges. But at the end of the day, it is still our number one selling mechanism to get a person from A to B and to pitch and sell them into products or services. I even wrote a book on it. So this is giving you insights into my world. I am a high level expert when it comes to these things. Again, we have the experience from the 8.5 years of doing things for a multitude of people online. So let's jump straight into it. So you asked a question earlier, what is a challenge and how can it be applied to an individual's business? So I'm going to give you the pure definition, and then we're going to get into some exacts. Challenges are online virtual events where you offer to work with a group of people over a set number of days to achieve a specific goal or objective. For me and my operation, we found that our most successful challenges have come from 5-day events. And that is tied with an additional 1 or 2 days from a bonus day standpoint. We typically utilize those days on our side to give extra value, Q&As, answer some frequently asked questions and things of that nature, just to kind of close the gap on any objections that a person may have. And then our number one goal for the challenge is to guide them through specific steps that will take them from defined point A, where they are now, to another defined point B, where they want to be in relation to a specific issue that they may be encountering. But at the end of the day, what people need to understand there are 3 different models that we found in this industry when it comes to challenges. You have your free challenges, you have your hybrid challenges, and you have your paid challenges, which are my favorite. And I'll get into the details of why the paid challenge is my number one go-to. So with free challenges, this approach will attract more people. Obviously, it has the key word free. Think of it like a webinar. You're going to get a lot of people who register. But the one thing that you have to worry about with anything as far as online virtual events is show rates. So typically when people pay, they pay attention. So on our side, we love to get the upfront cash for the ticket to get people into the ecosystem. But it is ideal for businesses that have a great offer and want to put it in front of as many people as possible to follow the free model. Okay. This model can also be used for businesses that are new to selling online products. So to Paulson's request, this can be done across the board. It doesn't matter what you're selling, who you are, when you're getting started. This is a model that you can introduce into your ecosystem to make sales in bulk. And this is what it kind of looks like. Okay. So you simply have a opt-in page. That opt-in page is simply just a page where you can come and collect some information, name, phone number, email, etc. And then you take them to a thank you page, which is just a confirmation, giving them information around what they can expect, follow-up, email, etc. Now let's get into hybrid challenges. Hybrid challenges, this is a combination of free and paid. Okay. So there's 2 different types of hybrid challenges from what I've seen online. Some people do it free on the front end and they have a VIP type of offer on the back end, and that can range from 47 to 97 bucks. And typically with that offer, most of the time it's just the recordings and a few different value pieces that is stuck in there. But I've also seen you can call it a paid/hybrid model where people charge 47 to 97 bucks on the front end, and then they have some sort of upsell immediately afterwards. And here's what that looks like. On that first page, you can see sales page versus opt-in, and I have that there because some people choose to do free on the front end with the upsell, or some people choose to have a paid option and then upgrade to a VIP. But the key thing here is when we utilize this type of challenge, when you look at Tony Robbins, they typically do hybrid challenges. They typically don't do paid. And you look at Dean Graziosi and what those guys are doing, these are big components to understand, because all we're looking to do is increase the average order value so that we can make some money based on if we're spending money on ads, or if we have a huge email list, or we're uh, focusing on JVs and partnerships. And then you have the paid challenge. And this is where you charge people on the front end. And we typically have 3 to 4 different ticket types on the front end. You have your general admission that typically ranges from $47 to $97. You have your VIPs that range from $197 to $297, and then whatever ticket name that people have, platinum, gold, etc. But it can go all the way up to $997 if you're offering like a course. But here we typically go from $47 to $497. But ultimately, you can see here, you will have less people joining typically if you're going the direct paid challenge, but it will allow you to make up some of and recoup some of that ad spend that you're spending on your ads to help with the marketing cost. And this is what that typically looks like. You have a sales page, you have an order form where you have your ticket, your different ticket options, and then you have the ability, let's say you get a general admission ticket and you have a VIP ticket. If I sold a general admission, the very next page, I'm trying to upsell them for the difference of that ticket price. And there's a second portion to the challenges, and it depends on what it is that you're looking to do. If you're selling a higher ticketed program, you typically want to have an application process and a deposit on the back end. Okay. What that process could look like: hey, put down a $1,000 deposit to secure your spot for this $5,000 product offering. And from there, we'll collect the rest over the phone or at a later date. Okay. So this right here is clearly to secure your spot. Now, the other portion to this is we utilize challenges, like I mentioned, for a multitude of product offerings. So we can also sell them into communities. So what would that process look like? We take them to a membership page, things of that nature. But we utilize this method across the board for a multitude of things. And again, this is the second portion if you're doing more of a higher ticketed product.
Now, Damien, as you go into this, do you see a big difference between high ticket or mid ticket one-time offers versus low ticket like subscription offers? Like, for example, a lot of folks that are watching this might be SaaSpreneurs, or they may have a community that they want to build a subscription for their theme or ecosystem or expertise that they're teaching. Do you see a big drastic difference in those different types of offers and how you should position the challenges?
Yes, from a positioning, yes, and we'll get into that when we
Okay.
talk about the product offerings that you want to put inside. But
Okay.
when it comes to, like, right now, it's just the economic thing, right? So most people, the higher ticketed products, they are, let's say it's a $25,000 mastermind for the year. They may come and say, hey, for 2,000, 2,500 bucks a month, you can get into this operation and not have such a heavy, upfront cost to the back end. So that's really the only thing that we're seeing right there. But when it comes to the low ticket and how people are positioning things, we'll get into that here
Okay.
shortly.
Awesome.
Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to exit out because I want to show you some things on the back end here. So this right here is essentially, and I'm walking, like I said, I'm trying to give as much value as possible so you can kind of see what it is that we're doing on our side. But this right here is essentially all of your traffic sources to the left. You have your paid traffic, cold traffic, organic traffic, etc., email and SMS and JV affiliations. And depending on the type of challenge that you're looking to run, this right here is a pure paid challenge. But I want to show you the process of what this all looks like. So we have our waitlist page. Don't worry about the text that's on the inside. This is all boilerplate text, but this is just focus on what it is I'm explaining here. You have your waitlist page if you're looking to build hype. Okay. So if you're looking to have a big event and you want to build hype, we typically do this in a 3 to 6 week process, and we build up for about a week inside of this wait list. And then you have your confirmation emails, et cetera, once a person signs up. And then we have the thank you confirmation page for that wait list. From there, we take them to the sales page. So this is the page that we showed on the front end from a paid challenge standpoint. But on that page, we have the different ticket options that people can purchase. From those ticket options that people can purchase, you have your general admission, your VIP, your platinum, and your titanium. And from there, you can see the upsell ascensions. From those upsell ascensions, You then have each one of these has their own individual processes for each individual ticket type with its own specific messaging on the back end. And this is where, again, I'm explaining this and showing you this to show you why HighLevel is so important on the back end. Because without it, all these things, it gets very, very tricky from an execution standpoint. And to try to bring it back down and not go over anyone's head, we just have automations in place here, and that's what these represent for confirmations of a purchase or confirmations of things of that nature on the back end. From there, again, I won't go too deep into all these things here because it's not relevant for what I'm trying to speak on. But we have the Facebook group that we send people into, the Facebook Messenger, and all those different things. And then each individual day, there's a set of processes that needs to happen. And this is where Paulson mentioned they have a team of 30 on the back end. This is where all the team of 30 really comes in, is the execution and the support on the back end to make sure that people are getting their deliverables and make sure they get the links and make sure they get all these things. And this is where all of these reminders. So I'm pre-framing you to let you know this is where HighLevel comes into play, because without it, this is extremely difficult to pull off with the way that we do it. Some people can simplify the process, but we always go for maximum exposure, maximum revenue, and these are the process to do it. So you have day one, you have day two, three, depending on the time frame that you set for yourself. And again, for this right here, this is going to an application page. This is going to the application thank you page, and this is more for a higher ticketed product. But you can take this and just switch it to any type of product. If you're selling SaaS, right? We're about to do some challenges on our side, pitching SaaS, and I'm going to show you that on the back end. You'll be able to see the difference between how challenges can be positioned. Okay. And then as far as the full map, what I want to do now is I'm going to bring this over here to this screen here and just show you what this looks like live. Okay. So let me go into, don't worry about the name. This is all HighLevel. Again, what I mentioned with SaaS on the back end, you guys understand what the HighLevel SaaS is. Again, we're practicing what we preach, but I'm going to go into the challenge back end so that you can understand this. So we have our funnels. Okay. We have multiple funnels within our ecosystem. And yes, I'm going to, the guys ask, hey, would you please give a snapshot? Would you do these things? Yes, we're going to bless you guys with snapshots to make all of this easy. But again, you need to understand it, and we're going to break this down for you.
That's
So
awesome.
just bringing this up here, just so you can kind of understand here. This is what our challenge process looks like. We have our opt-in pages, we have our bridge sale pages, we have our general admission order forms. We have all of these things on the back end of the process. And again, it's going to be uploaded into your account with a snapshot. You'll have all these things. But what's super important to understand here is the automations that go with challenges. There's a lot of things that goes into the back end. We have our hybrid challenges. You can see here countdown sequences, day one reminders, day two reminders, sign up registration. There's a lot of things that we're doing on the back end of the automations, link tracking, making sure that things are happening on the back end and we're tracking all the links. Paid challenge automations. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening on the back end here that you'll have access to. So I will do my best to make sure that you guys understand exactly what it is that we're giving you. And then the final piece of this and what makes HighLevel so dang cool is the custom values. Now, when you talk about an automation standpoint, you talk about all these different things. You can see here, just in this one folder, I have 407 custom values. Now, what is a custom value and what are we doing with this? We are trying to automate as much of the process as possible so that when we want to run challenges, especially if you're an agency owner, you can have all these things be already set up for you. So for example, the challenge sales page, what is the current challenge? With these custom values, we're able to implement these custom value keys into different places like the sales page copy. So let's say, for example, let's just say that I change this right here. This is a call to action. I change this to buy your ticket today. Wherever this custom value is on the back end and we place this key, let's say we place it in an email. Let's say that we put it on a button on a sales page. Let's say that we put it in an SMS copy. That buy your ticket today is the text that's going to display. So you can imagine when I bring in a new customer, I bring in a new person that wants to do a challenge, I duplicate the funnel automatically on an automation. All the custom values are automatically put in there, and we just come in here based on our intake forms. All of this stuff is done for us. Every single component. So it's some really cool stuff that you're able to do on the back end from an automation and saving time standpoint. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I just gave you kind of like a high level overview of what all is possible on the back end, all of your automations, your funnel, your CRM on the back end, as far as managing the flow, all of those things are capable on the back end of Go High Level.
Amazing. I appreciate you being generous and providing those snapshots. So make sure you click on one of the links below to jump into the trial. Otherwise, if you're not a high level account holder, you won't be able to use these snapshots.
Yeah, and that's the
So,
tough part. That's the decision that you have to make. That's my value offer to you. So the big thing here is just understanding the power and flexibility that you have when it comes to high level. Okay. So now, why are challenges my favorite selling mechanism? Okay. A challenge gives a prospect the opportunity to learn from you over a specific time frame so they can ask questions, get unstuck, and help themselves gain clarity around a specific approach. Now, this is the big thing that most people really need to understand, especially in, the day and age that we are now, where trust is at an all-time low. People are trying to figure out where to get information. This will give you the ability to allow your attendees to get to know, like, and trust you, which is huge. Okay, so whatever product, service, SaaS, whatever it is that you're looking to do, a challenge gives you the opportunity to knock down and kill as many objections as possible on the back end. Okay, super, super important to understand. Now, again, they work for any type of business model, any type of business model. And my goal right now, we've done over 75 challenges at this point for different industries. And so I'm always looking for, what are you selling? Oh, you're selling to whales. I want to help you run a challenge to help sell to whales, right? Because I'm trying to figure out all of the different things. It's just a repeatable process that goes back and back to generate the results that we generate online. So you can see here, SaaS, memberships, high ticket offers, coaching programs, services, masterminds. It works across the board. All it is bringing in a herd of people and presenting and pitching and giving value, obviously. But it's just selling one to many. Now, why is the perfect time for challenges? Like I mentioned earlier, lower consumer trust. So it's at an all-time low, diminishing returns of other marketing methods. People want more value, people want more access, and improved technology and resources, which again, high level has given us the ability to automate a lot of these processes, which makes it highly effective for us to be able to scale rapidly and bring in and do multiple challenges at a time. But what I really want to hone in here is people want more value and people want more access. What does that mean? People want more access to you, right? Through a webinar, people don't have the ability, you might get 15 minutes of Q&A at the end of the webinar. Some people over deliver, might stay an extra 30. And then people want more value. Imagine having 5 days to give value. Okay. 3 days, a whole day, whatever your time frame is. This is a key component of selling multiple people at the same time without actually hopping into a phone call. And that's the other key thing that people need to understand. When we get into these high ticket situations, yes, we do still have a sales team on the back end, but that is just to maximize the ability to close as many people as possible. But the majority of the people are sold when we pitch. So that is something to understand. We pitch $30,000 products. We pitch $1,500 a year for SaaS or SaaS bundle products. We don't do that through phone calls. We have the phone call team on the back end to maximize, but on the front end, we sell without having a sales team on the back end, which is a huge selling point to why we do challenges. Okay. Now, again, I've been talking and hyping this up. What are the drawbacks? There's a lot of things that have to happen within, like Paulson said, there's 30 people. You got content creation, the volume of work, the time commitment, obviously. So depending on what type of time that you're looking to do, show up rates, that's always something that you always have to worry about. And then the funnel building and technology. Again, luckily we have high level at our disposal. Okay, so now I really want to get into the nitty gritty. Paulson, if you have any questions that you want to ask, now is the time because we're about to get into some serious game.
I think what I love about this is that you're going into the practical side of building this, not just being in the theory mode. So I'm
Of course.
excited to just keep going.
Okay, well, let's get it. So, planning your event. We have 5 steps that we typically go through when it comes to virtual events. We plan, we build, we fill, we host, and we sell. That is the 5-step process that we take people through. So, you can see here, let's start talking about how we plan events. And when I say this is our exact step-by-step process, now is the time to pull out the pen and pad. So when we plan our events, we define our avatar. That's number one. We define our signature process. What is it that makes you unique? What is it that makes you different than the rest of the noise that's out there online? We identify your transformational shift, and I put shirt, but it should be shift. Uh, Again, we're all human. Identify your transformational shift, create your ascension offer. So, what is the offer that you're going to be putting in place to pitch? Making key event decisions and outlining your event content. So, defining the avatar, what you can see here, we want to identify the who. Okay. The goal is to set a clear on who and get clear on who the event is for so that you can have a sole focus on a virtual event. Okay. Now, what you can see here down here on the screen is these are the steps that we go through when we're defining the avatar. Define the transformation your participants will receive. So, what is that on the front end? What are we looking to get as far as the final outcome of the event? Defining a broad market. So, you can see here, I define the broad market, I narrow it down to a specific sub market, I further refine to a niche, and then I specify a micro niche. Because when we get into these challenges, you want to have one objective, speaking to one pain point, one problem to one specific target audience. Very, very key here. Again, define your broad market, health and wealth. If I tried to create a challenge around health, I would lose everyone on that because it's too broad. Okay. Narrowing down to a specific sub market, weight loss for women. I'm getting a little closer, right? But is it weight loss for just women who may be bigger? Is it weight loss for people who just went through pregnancy? Is it weight loss for, so what does the narrowing down mean? Further refining it, post-pregnancy weight loss. Okay. So now I'm getting even more specific. And then you have natural postpartum weight loss. So now I'm speaking to a very core micro niche. And now all of the pain points, all of the objections and things that I need to handle, it's speaking to one specific type of person. Okay. So now you can tailor the entire event, all of your content, all of the slides, everything that you're feeding them as far as extra value, the questions that you have lined up for the people. All of these things are very important. And we get very, very deep, not just picking something broad, speaking to everyone through challenges. We want to get very specific. We list out the key demographics, age, gender, etc., psychographic traits. What's the lifestyles? What are their values? What are they interested in? And then who is the event for and who is the event not for? These are the things that we're defining on the front end. Okay. Now, developing your signature process. We outline a step-by-step framework or methodology that guides the participants from the current state to the desired outcome. Very important to understand. People are coming in with a specific mindset. We want them to leave with a specific mindset. Okay. By naming and detailing the unique process. So we always tailor and create something unique. So for example, we ran a challenge with Eric Thomas. They call him the hip hop preacher. Okay. And with his signature process, we called it the UOU process. Okay. So it was very specific to what we were looking to have with the transformation. You owe yourself to do X. You owe yourself to be better, right? So those are the things that you want to kind of focus on when it comes to the naming of this process. Take it serious because it can actually have an effect on just the vibes that you can tailor the event around. Here, we outline the unique steps of the process. What are the pillars? We create a memorable name. We provide a detailed description for each individual step. And then how does the process, product, or service solve the individual problem that we're looking to attack? The transformational shift, really the most important part of the actual pitching and presenting is what is their old identity, and then where are we trying to take them and where they currently are. So you can see here, we determined the old identity. The goal here is to knock down the false beliefs and cause a transformational change. The current identity, what is it, right? Are they a credit expert? Are they an online fitness trainer? We need to describe that state and the beliefs so that we can create content and go to ChatGPT and all these different AI tools to figure out different ways to subconsciously get into their current state to relate to them. And then we attack their limiting beliefs. We want to identify the false beliefs or misconceptions holding them back. What's holding them back? What lies, misconceptions, or issues are keeping them stuck? And that's typically what we find in these challenges. People are just stuck. They need help getting over a specific hump and things of that nature. And that's how we transition from that old identity to the new identity. And as you can see here, we create the new identity. The goal here is to knock down the false beliefs and cause that change, etc. And the desired transformation, we want to define the new identity and beliefs that these participants will adopt after the challenge. So we map these things out in the beginning. What is the shift that we're looking to have people, take and partake in? And what are the new beliefs that we want to instill in them? Okay. Those are the things that we're doing from a transformational shift. What does that look like? If you're a person who needs to fix their credit, I'm going to stick on credit here. When they come into the challenge, they may have a crappy credit score. After the challenge, we want to show them that we have the ability to help them get a better credit score, right? So Those are the things that you want to try to focus on when you're focusing on the transformational shift and the mindset that you have once you have and become a higher credit score owner. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Ascension offer, this right here is more tailored towards high ticket. This is what we do. This is where the big bucks come in. But even with the people that we run communities in SaaS challenges for, the offer is still kind of similar in certain portions. But you can see here, we want to create a no-brainer offer, the Ascension offer for what you're selling after the event. And this is our structure for how we lay it out, essentially. Even with SaaS, when we're selling SaaS, we still have some sort of curriculum, some sort of course that they can go and do it themselves. So you can see that's always going to be number one. Number two is coaching. They want access to things. They want to be able to touch you and feel you and really get the help that they want to feel that support. So we always add in coaching elements, community, a place where people can congregate, network, and have that support along their journey. And then we have 3 different bonuses that we want to add into the ecosystem. But very important here to understand what aspects are better than the other assets. So we always make our bonuses better than the actual program or 1 through 3 steps that you see there. Our bonuses are always better. And then we have our fast action bonuses. And this is where we add in our urgency and scarcity, like, oh, if you act today, you can get access to boom, 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 right? So when we talk about the Ascension offer, that's very important to understand. And this is how we typically structure them. Even if let's say we're doing a community, it's still going to be curriculum, some sort of coaching. You got the networking and the bonuses, et cetera. So each offer, let's say it's SaaS, you still got a curriculum, you still got the coaching. So it can be tailored and tweaked to whatever that you're selling, even services. The event details. Now, very simple stuff here. The event name, you want to link to the assets. You want to make sure you have your event name, something catchy. Again, with the Eric Thomas explanation or breakdown, it was called the UOU Summit. So everything, again, was tailored towards UOU. Domain URL. Very important here. Most people don't really tie these two together, but you definitely want to make sure that if you have a UOU Summit, you want to try to get the same domain name because it can cause conflict and people can search specific things and not know where to go. But if you're running like ads, obviously they got to click a button to get there. But it's just something that we try to do. We try to tie the name to a domain, and we typically start with the domain name first to make sure that we can get the name for the event. What is their event promise and what are the dates and times? And then what are your ticket offers? What I explained earlier with pricing those tickets. And then outlining the event. Very important here, the daily content planning. I didn't put all the way down because, again, some of you may run a 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, etc. But how we structure these, we have a topic, we have our subpoints, and then we have our false beliefs and objections that we're knocking out for that day. Okay. I'm not going to get too deep into how the days are structured, but just to kind of give you that debrief, day 1 is typically mindset, taking them through the process of that transformational shift. Day 2 is typically when we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the actual offer. Day 3 for us, again, we're doing 5 days. This is the explanation. Day 3 is when we really go hard with the content, really pull out the surprises, the wows, the aha moments, etc. And then we take them to an application process at the end of that day. Hey, we have something that we want to do, blah, blah, blah. You can apply today. We're not telling them about the offer. We're not pitching them. We're just saying, hey, we have something for you if you're interested in learning more. And then on day 4, we take them through the process. Again, we're knocking down objections and we're going through social proof elements. We're adding in testimonials, case studies, things of that nature. But then after that call, we're getting into the pitch. And then day 5 is just a reiteration, over delivering from a value standpoint. Now, building out your challenge assets. Okay. This is the really cool part about HighLevel now. This is something that, again, this is why I'm so gangbusters over go HighLevel. They just keep getting better, keep innovating, keep making the product better. They're so product centric and customer centric. Like now, you don't even have to go crazy and go get funnels built. You can just use the product sections and the things that the funnel blocks. It's crazy what they're allowing you to do. And what I want to do, I'm just a huge heavy believer of show versus tell. So I'm going to pull something up for you just so you can kind of understand exactly what it is that I'm talking about here. So let me go here. Let me go to edit. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to quit sharing this really quick. And I'm going to go to the back here. Okay, so I'm inside of HighLevel's back end. And you can see here, this is just the funnel page with some boilerplate copy, etc. But now if you go to the top left-hand corner, click this plus sign, they have this section called pre-built sections. Now, what is a pre-built section? You go to pre-built sections, I can easily come here. I have a category, different categories of different things that I can drag into this screen. And watch how cool this is. If you're tired of overpaying for funnels, I just got a whole block that I can come in here and say, UOU challenge, right?
Yeah.
So very simple. I can come here, change the button, very simple. It's never been easier to get up and running. I can go and add an about section. Here you go. Let me change. You can change the photo here, change your, hey, I'm Darren, right? Very simple, very easy, very, the UI is great. All of these things are now possible at the speed of light. So now what we're doing is like, screw this, building all these funnels and wasting all these resources. We're going to come in here, take some pre-built sections, get the funnel up and moving fast. We already got the automations and we can move at lightning speed because of what HighLevel is allowing us to do. So hopefully that was a interesting take there because we're doing some pretty unique things as far as speed and efficiency, and that's what everybody here should be shooting for. Money loves speed. Okay, so we create the event funnel pages. We set up the automations and integrations, which I showed you on the back end. We develop the branding and promotional materials. We prepare the content delivery system, and we test and optimize. And I'll run through these pretty quickly here. So building the pages, I showed you what pages need to be built. But on these pages, we want to make sure we have a compelling headline. We fill the page with testimonials and social proof. We have multiple call to actions throughout the page. That's just the buttons and the action that we want people to take. The custom values, which I showed you, which you'll get access to on the back end to expedite the process with copy and fillers. And then we want to follow the branding guidelines. You have your logos, colors, and fonts and things of that nature. And then the ascension process, we want to keep everything simple and clean. We have our trust elements, and then there's multiple upsell opportunities. Setting up the automations, very important here. I was inside of Lucid Charts, showing you kind of like a glimpse of what is possible when it comes to the foundational elements. But from an email sequence standpoint, we have our pre-event email automations, we have our event sequence automations, and we have our post-event sequences. And the event sequences are the daily reminders and everything that's happening every single day to make sure people show up. We integrate our payment processors on the back end, Stripe, NMI, PayPal, whatever it is that you're using to collect payments. And then we connect our CRM processes to track engagement. So for example, what that may look like, people who show up on day one versus day two, we're tracking that. People who buy a general admission ticket versus a platinum ticket, we're tracking that. So we want to be able to keep people in alignment with where they are and the actions that they take within our CRM. We prepare the content delivery. So what challenge platform are you using? For us, most of the time we just use Facebook groups. That's where we kind of house everything, makes it super simple. But from a delivery standpoint, we typically use Zoom. So people hop into Zoom, very similar to what we're on here. And we host the event there, and we typically live stream that into the Facebook group. Okay, so very key there. It's a integration on the back end of Facebook settings and Zoom. You can live stream through the group, and we make them private. Very important there. We make them private so anybody can't just join. And then we upload resources into the Facebook group for the actual event. And this is just one of the events that we recently did on April the 9th through the 11th, which is a 3-day. Then we have a test and optimize. So we test each individual funnel page and the interlinkings. Very important when you're setting up your funnels inside of HighLevel. The really cool thing, and this is, again, I'm going to harp in on HighLevel and what they're doing to make things easier. On the back end, they give you the ability to click on the button, and that button then you can choose go to the next step. You can choose go to a URL. You can choose all of the different things. So it makes it very easy from a linking standpoint to make sure that everything is integrated properly. What happens when a person comes and purchases? What is the next page that they go to? What happens when they click the button to go to the ticket that they're looking to purchase? It's very easy to connect all of these things on the back end. And then obviously we want to make sure that everything looks good on mobile. Now, filling your event. This is probably the probably the hardest part of everything is getting people to come and show up. So filling your event with potential customers, and this is what we focus on our side. We develop a marketing strategy. We create and schedule email campaigns with AI employees. I'm about to show you some super sick stuff here. We leverage social media platforms, we utilize paid ads, and we collaborate with partners and affiliates. Okay, so very similar to how Go HighLevel has things on the back end with the affiliate plays. We do the same thing with leveraging other people's audiences and bringing them into our things where we can deliver value to people who are relevant. Okay, so when it comes to developing a marketing strategy, we identify the key channels that we want to utilize to bring people in on the front end. We determine the most effective channels to promote it: email, social media, paid ads, partnerships, and then we create a list of chosen channels and outline how they will be used. Very important also there on how they will be used. For us, on our side, Instagram and Facebook, People call it Meta, but Instagram and Facebook, we have a very specific strategy on what we're doing. Google and YouTube, we utilize for retargeting and remarketing on the back end for the people that we're driving. So we have very specific strategies that we implement across the board for getting people into the challenges. Every single one of them has a very specific objective that we're looking to get. And then we plan a promotional timeline. We develop a timeline, and then we use a calendar to map out the key dates. Creating and scheduling the emails, very simple here. We write out all of the email sequences with AI employees. Okay. Now this right here is what I want to. I'm gonna stop here because this is something here that I think that, and again, knowing Go High Level, they'll probably bring it into the ecosystem here soon. So just keep your eyes open for that. But this right here is a system, and again, we started using this very recently. We built these out on our side, but the reason that I'm showing this here and why it's relevant is because on our side, we're all about efficiency and time saving. Okay. And what this company is allowing us to do is they're allowing us to connect AI agents and AI employees together. So we speed up our process from a copy standpoint. I'll probably never do copy again on my side just because of either ChatGPT or all these AI tools that you have available at your leisure. But we are able to connect individual AI employees and intertwine that with human input. So for example, a webinar topic, innovation. So for us, this is one of the automations that we have on the back end for creating webinar topics. We input the information here. We brainstorm the topics. This is an AI employee. I train this employee with our individual processes and systems and how we want it to respond. And then it talks to the topic validation assistant. Then a human comes in and chooses the topic based on what they put together. Then I have the competitive gap analyzer that comes in and does these things. So on our side, what are we doing with challenges? All the challenge emails, they talk to each other. Each individual employee maps everything out, spits it over to us. All the challenge slides, puts everything together, maps it out, spits it to us. So we're able to expedite the process of getting people up and running as quickly as possible with AI employees. So something that is very innovative and different that we've now just started doing. But I wanted to mention that because it has sped up the process. We've done a ton of testing on the back end that has given us the ability to figure out what's what, but something super, super handy on our side to help with speeding up getting launched. Okay. Super, irrelevant when it comes to high level and things of that nature. But on our side, we're trying to figure out how to build on top with our SaaS, put that on top of it to speed up the process even more when it comes to user experience. Okay. We want everything staying in high level. So all these other tools, can it embed inside of high level? If it can, great. We're gonna figure it out. So we utilize that to draft out the emails. We write launch emails, etc. Prepare the reminders, and then we schedule those out utilizing Go High Level and setting that up and making sure that everything is connected on the back end. Leveraging social media, very simple here. Playing your social media content, create the content plan that includes posts, stories, and live sessions. Very key on that live sessions. We want to go live and make sure that we can promote these things to people, attract people in. And again, I understand when I go live, I probably get like 40 to 50 people max. So don't be afraid of going live and just making sure that you're doing everything possible that you can do. Because at the end of the day, you can save a live, turn it into content. You just want multiple pieces that you can leverage across the board. We develop a calendar with this, and then we engage with our audience. So when we host these live sessions, we have automations on the back end, again, with high level that allow us to comment on different things, respond to comments, messages, etc. And then we post regularly on the back end to make sure that we can maintain a consistent presence. Paid ads, there's a million different things out there on paid ads. You can probably go to YouTube, set up paid ads, but we set up ad campaigns across the board, obviously following the branding guidelines and the messaging that we're looking to get across. But what we do on a regular basis, specifically for challenges, is we review the performance regularly. We generate weekly reports. We improve ad effectiveness by looking at what's working and what's not working, and then we utilize tracking and attribution tools on the back end. Now, collaboration with affiliates, JVs, and using other people's audiences, very key here. We identify potential partners and we create a list of those partners who can help promote. So we look at different things on our back end within our network, other things that may be valuable to us and other people that we may not know. And we position value-driven emails and value-driven reach outs to these people. How can I deliver value to your audience? and in exchange, whatever the negotiation is. Okay. So super, super important here because we leverage a lot of people's lists and we say, hey, look, we'll give you 50% of what comes through. We'll give you 40% of what comes through. So tapping into other people's audiences is something that can be leveraged. And the other component to that is you can bring in guest speakers. So the guest speaker approach is we bring in different influencers, different influential people, and we leverage their audiences by saying, hey, if I bring in an influencer, I need you to post to your audience. I need to send emails to your list. And that's another way that we can. And then the other thing that we do is we run ads through their pages on the back end. So we get access to the entire ecosystem to be able to do that. But then we research and select those partners to make sure that it aligns with our market. And then we provide them with promotional material for them to be able to utilize. And then you can engage with your community, build anticipation, and foster interaction. You can see this here on the screen. I don't have to go through it. Now you're hosting your event. Again, we just planned, we built, we filled. Now it's time to host. So what does this entail? Preparing for the live sessions, managing communications, conducting the live sessions, managing technical aspects, and fostering engagement. And this is probably where 20 of the 30 people that you guys have on the back end, this is probably where it comes into play. So preparing for those live sessions, we want to develop an event syllabus, outline each individual day, what are the topics, what are the session times, any special activities that you may be doing. If you are bringing in guest speakers, you're going to want to make sure that you involve them in this process as well. And then we want to ensure that the syllabus includes time for live training and Q&A. So you always want to give yourself that buffer time whenever we're hosting the events. Obviously, you got to create presentation slides, things of that nature. So pretty self-explanatory there. But what we want to do there, again, at the very bottom, we utilize Zoom to host these live events. Managing communication. So sending event reminders. Every single day, there should be reminders going to the people, making sure that they show up. Every single day, there should be multiple emails following up to make sure that people show up. So we send out emails in the morning, we send out SMS in the afternoon, and an email in the afternoon. And then depending on the time of the event, we have at least 2 to 3 before it starts. And then we have a sequence of 1 hour before, 15 minutes before, and 10 minutes after. So we're pretty aggressive on our side, making sure that people show up to the actual event. But we also do a very good job of, again, this is where the live sessions come into play. When I say live, that means going live before each individual day. We go live online to say, hey, we're about to get ready for the event. Are you excited? We do the hype, the whole thing. So we have multiple things that we're doing to make sure people see it. Again, people are busy. They have busy schedules. We want to make sure that we do everything in our power to get people in butts and seats. During that time, we're engaging with the participants and we're moderating the live segments, ensuring smooth transitions between the different segments. So let's say you have, for us, when we do challenges, the paid challenge model, we have a VIP session and we have a general admission session. So those VIP sessions, they're paying for extra access. They're paying for the recordings. They're paying for Q&A sessions. So we typically have, you can choose before or after. Typically, we do before. So let's say you're doing an event at 7 o'clock. That's when the main session happens. At 6 o'clock, an hour before, 30 minutes before, whatever you choose from a time frame standpoint, we are hosting that event specifically for the VIP members for an hour where they can ask questions and do those things. And you want to have someone who can come in and transition you to the live session with the main people who pay for general admission. So, hey, you might have a timer that's going down with some music playing in the background. Hey, we're taking a break. We're about to transition into the Facebook group and blah, blah, blah. So you want to make sure that you have something that's helping with the transition there. And then conducting the live sessions. Start with an introduction, deliver high value content, and address the questions and feedback. Again, there's specific things that we're doing each and every day, but the main thing here that I'll mention and then we'll move on is begin each session with a warm welcome and a brief overview of the day's agenda. Super important there. You're coming in with the right energy, you're setting the tone and expectations, but at the end of the day, you're giving them an overview of what it is that they're going to be learning for that day. We found that when we didn't mention that, people would leave during the freaking session. They would just leave. It's like, why are you leaving? Because they don't know the topic. They don't know what's going on. You're just talking about mindset, especially on day one. It's like, I just signed up for this and they're talking about mindset. I didn't come here for mindset. So you have to set the proper expectations on the front end. And that has helped us tremendously when it comes to retention rate. I talk about show rate a lot, but the retention rate is also very important. Managing the tech. This is where HighLevel comes into play. When we did not have HighLevel, this was very, very, very hard to manage the tech. So ensuring that all the tech components, the mic, the cameras, etc., are functioning properly, conduct the final check to confirm, and then everything, we always have safety nets. What is the plan for when this Zoom doesn't connect to Facebook? What is the plan when Zoom crashes out because we have too many people coming in? So we have to have plan A, B, C, and D for tech. But what happens with the back end is one time, crazy story, we had 10,000 people registered for a challenge. It was with a pretty big influencer, and everything broke. When I say everything, I mean everything broke. So if we did not have HighLevel on the back end to make sure that we can send emails and all the things, and if things are not happening, we have triggers on the back end, which you'll see on the back end as well. It would have been a nightmare. Okay, fostering engagement, very simple thought here. Create opportunities for interaction. So when you're running these challenges, what we try to also instill inside of these challenges is gamification. Gamification, we want to recognize them for their participation. So let's say day one, this person is day one through day five, and you have somebody that's constantly engaging in the group, sharing links. When people are asking questions, they're in the comments. We want to reward that engagement. So we typically do that with badges, iPads, $500 giveaways, whatever the case may be. But we also set the stage. So we run these challenges. Let's say we're doing Monday through Friday from a live challenge, 5-day experience. On Sunday, we set the stage for the people who are VIP who pay for that extra time to let them know, hey, I'm watching, setting the stage for the gamification. If you're doing these things on the back end, you can earn rewards. So we do set that stage. And finally, making money from the virtual event. Okay, we want to create a compelling sales presentation, address all of the objections possible. We want to close the sales, we have a follow-up strategy, and we want to have a smooth onboarding process. Again, without having HighLevel, now we have to have another platform to have the onboarding process. We got to have another system to do all of the follow-up post the purchase. Tech is a huge thing here. So we want to develop a structured pitch. Now on our pitches, we are very, very key on outlining the structure of your sales presentation, including the intro, the value proposition, the main benefits, and the closing in that order. Intro, value proposition, main benefits, and closing. And we create the slide that visually represent each one of those key points. From there, we interject testimonials and case studies, and then we incorporate that into the presentation to build that credibility and that trust. And then we over communicate the value and the benefits of them getting into the ecosystem. And we emphasize the unique value proposition and how it solves their specific problems. So throughout this entire process, yeah, we have days 1 through 5. We're talking, we're having a good time, we're answering questions. But when we get into the actual pitch itself, that's when things get tricky. Okay. So we want to address the objections, anticipate common objections. So we typically list this out beforehand. We go to ChatGPT. Hey, here's the niche. Here's what we're doing. What are the things that they go through? We put together empathy maps, and we get really deep into the customer's mind when it comes to the personas and things of that nature. So we have a pretty detailed list before we even go into it so that we can knock them down. What are the top 10 things that this person could be worried about based on the level that they are? And what we do is we break it down into individual stages of awareness. So we take the advertising world and bring it into the challenge, and we have the top 3 of each from a pain point standpoint to make sure that we're addressing it and embedding it into the sales process and the pitch. And then closing the sale. Again, the big thing here is obviously implementing persuasive call to actions and having urgency and scarcity and things of that nature. But we also offer multiple payment options depending on what you're doing. So let's say you're selling SaaS at $1,500 a year or whatever that you're placing the price point. Whatever you're doing there, we want to have multiple flexible payment options. We want to ensure that the process is secure and straightforward. So we explain the entire process. So let's say you're doing 3 payments of $397, etc. We want to let them know, hey, you're going to be charged in 30 days for the next $397. So you're laying out a proper roadmap and a success path for them to understand exactly what it is that's about to happen. And then we have automated follow-up sequences on the back end of HighLevel. And this is where the back end comes into play with the sales team. You don't need a sales team, but if you want to have a sales team in place for a personalized approach, this is where we would implement it. And then we want to have a smooth onboarding process. So create welcome materials, have an automation on the back end that delivers an email outlining the next steps. All of that happens on the back end at HighLevel, thank God. Conduct introductory sessions, I'm sorry. And this is where, again, just smoothing out that process. We have an orientation webinar to help the new people come in, understand how to get the most out of their purchase. What are the next steps? If it's a mastermind, what are the next, what's the process? When is it going to happen? All of those types of questions come in. And then from there, we have our support channels and our FAQ and help. And then we want to leverage different points. Okay, different leverage points. Get my words twisted. Um, a few ways that we leverage different things on the back end, just to kind of give you some guys and just really expand on the challenge model. We utilize challenges with webinars. Okay, and I want to explain that process here visually, not visually, but this is where the magic happens. This is where we've had the biggest challenges to date is we run a webinar on the front end. That webinar sells challenge tickets. The challenge tickets then gets all the people into the challenge ecosystem. Again, we're selling a paid model. So most people get into webinars now in today's age. When you get into a webinar, you know you're getting sold. At the end of the day, there's a pitch at the end. Everyone knows there's a pitch, right? So now what can we do from a shock factor? So we come into the ecosystem, our highest price point for the product on it is $497. Unless you're doing the platinum tier where you sell a course and things of that nature with the challenge ticket, but it's $497. So we just gave all of this value in this webinar, hour 30, etc. At the end, we have a $497 pitch, and then we send those people into a community where people can thrive and just wait and get reminders and things of that nature. And then we have the actual challenge. That time frame, which is super important, is a 6-week process. We run webinars for 6 weeks in a row, selling challenge tickets into the challenge that's happening at the end of the 6 weeks. And then from there, we pitch, we push them in. Okay. That's the webinar to challenge method. And here's the really cool part about the webinar to challenge method. With the webinar side, we spend the money on the front end. We have our bridge sale page selling a $27 offer that helps us with liquidation of the ad spend. So when we come into the challenge, we're typically profitable before the challenge even starts. We spend $10,000, we make $20,000. We do that for 6 weeks in a row. We're up, 50 grand, let's just call it 50 grand. And from there, we're already up. So any sale that comes through the back end is pure gravy, right? So that's why we like the webinar to challenge model. One of my most recent challenges to scale a paid community, we literally, and again, I hate to talk numbers. This is not natural. It's not, but we have a person right now. We're doing challenges every single quarter, driving into a paid community. That community is at $400,000 a month right now. It is cranking. And how are we able to do it? Over deliver value on a webinar, bring the people into the challenge, sell them into a $197 a month subscription. Now, can you imagine that being a Go HighLevel SaaS product that you have on the back end? So there's multitude of ways that you can do things. And remember the Ascension offer that I had, curriculum, coaching, community, etc. Tie that to your SaaS, you got something special on your hands. Challenge can help you sell your high ticket offers, obviously. And here's the thing that you need to understand. We talk about big people. I'm talking about all these crazy numbers. But my small people who have less than 1,000 followers, don't really have that much engagement, they get maybe 10 to 25 people on their challenges, still able to have 5-figure days, 6-figure days within their organization and in their operation, because you don't need 1 million people to join the challenge to make money. Again, everybody here is going to have different goals and different objectives that they're looking to do from a money making standpoint. It's very easy to do through challenges. When I say easy, I mean the model is easy, meaning if you follow a proven blueprint, you can try to replicate the results based on what you do on your side. Okay. And that's what I mean by easy, because I'm not saying that you can just go run a challenge, you're going to make a whole bunch of money. No, that's not the case. Right. Challenges are the best selling mechanism to scale consistently. And then ways to scale efficiency. We utilize the AI employees to write all of our copy. We leverage automation on the back end of HighLevel to save time. We monitor and track all the traffic activity on the back end. We have a sales team in place to maximize the opportunity, and we over deliver on way comes back. Oh, over delivering on this comes back tenfold. So we over deliver on the actual presentations. And then here, our biggest to date, $6.7 million in one single challenge. Here, about $2.5 million per month. You can see here collected in a 2-month span. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can definitely reach out to us. We're here active in the HighLevel community. Super, super ecstatic about what these guys are doing and what they're building. And it was an honor to be able to come and give you guys some information around what we're doing in our world.
Man, I love it. I appreciate all the value you shared, and there's a ton to unpack here. If you watch this and you're in the process of starting a challenge, or if this is something that you're thinking about, you might feel a bit overwhelmed at the moment because there's so much to do. And I can tell you, even from personal experience. I mean, there is a lot, and the value of it is, you're creating a evergreen system for yourself as a business for the front end, top of the funnel, or a back end. Like you can replace a lot of marketing and sales activities with these mechanisms. But Damon, I appreciate you taking some time, and I know you said for anybody that's jumping into the trial with the masterclass, you're going to probably provide the snapshot. Can you help us understand what will be all given as kind of goodies, just if somebody did take the trial today?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the people who take advantage of the trial, you're going to get the opportunity to get into the ecosystem, to figure out and click around and figure out what all this stuff means on the back end. So what is a funnel? Where is the funnel at? Where are the custom values? There's a lot of things that Go High Level gives you the flexibility to do. Number one, as you're thinking about all of the things that it may cost you extra money, Go High Level gives you the ability to have everything in one spot. That is my number one pitch to all of my people that I bring in. Let's save you some money. That's number one. Okay. Number two, when it comes to what we're going to be giving you, again, like this right here is pure value give back to the people to try to help them level up in their business in a multitude of ways. And there's, again, you saw webinar challenges alone, challenge to sell your SaaS products, challenge to sell your services. What we're giving you is an automated system that allows you to get into the challenge game. Okay, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things that are happening on the back end. And again, we're not here to overwhelm you. We're here to say that we do have a solution for you, and we're going to give it to you in this trial. What comes in that trial and what comes inside of that snapshot that we're going to give you, we're going to give you funnels. We're going to give you all the funnels. And you saw what I did with the pre-built sections. You can change the funnels around, change the color scheme, anything that you want to do. So you can customize it to your liking and do it at your own leisure. We're going to give you the automations, all the follow-up sequences, all of the post-purchase sequences. When people purchase, what does the nurture sequence look like? What happens when a person doesn't purchase? We're giving you all of that stuff, and it's already all built. Um, just trust me, it's a huge time saver, number one. But then the second thing is, or the third thing is, we're giving you all of the custom values. Those custom values on the back end are very, very, very key to speeding up the process of getting launched. Don't know what to say inside of your copy? Well, guess what? We've already put all the copy together for you. All you got to do is go in and put your custom values, and you can change your branding. You can change, insert your product or your service or whatever it is that you're pushing. All you got to do is add your graphics and things of that nature. And I know that there's some things that are coming on the back end. So whatever you guys need there, we're more than happy to help support. And then what I'm having my team work on right now is some challenge prompts. So anybody in here that is familiar with ChatGPT, et cetera, we have some things and prompts on our side that we utilize to help expedite the process as well, so that we don't have to do too much thinking, right? We want to try to get this up and running. Again, money loves speed. So on our side, we want to give you some challenge prompts as well. So it's a full stack system if you're looking to run a challenge. And only way you can get it is if you get the trial.
I love it. So, and you might be wondering, how do I get the trial if I'm not part of it? In the description of this live stream right now, there are some links there for the masterclass that we're doing and the trial around it. And what that will do is help us track the trials that are coming from the masterclass versus Damien's regular affiliate trials. Either way, jump into one or the other, it doesn't matter. He's going to be able to provide some value to you. So, Damien, thanks for saying yes to us. And all of you that are watching, thanks for watching another episode of High Level Masterclass.
Absolutely. You guys take care and go crush it
Bye
with
for
your
now.
niche.